إن الحمد لله نحمده حمدا كثيرا طيبا كما يستحق كل محامد. هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق وبلغ رسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده وترك الأمة على البيضاء ليلها كنهارها ولا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. صلى الله نبينا وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. طيب إخوة, what was the first hadith we covered, Mahir? Intention, judge, every action judged by intention, everything negate what you intended for. إنما العمل بالنيات. طيب, that's very good. What did the scholars said about this hadith?
It's one of the three hadiths that is outside of the Sunnah that Imam Ahmad said. Plus two other hadiths. إنما الأعمال بالنيات and halal bayyinah, haram bayyinah. Whoever does not anything that's not in accordance to the Sunnah will be rejected.
Hadith Aisha, man ahdatha fi mas. Okay, why is these three specifically Imam Ahmad mentioned?
Because they all go hand in hand. Sufficient enough to be believed to the
Okay, go hand in hand. Okay. Give more. If you can add a bit more. Okay. Did you were here last week?
Last week, no.
Okay. Azhar, what do you think? What did Imam Ahmad added the three mentioned the three hadiths around the three hadiths? The whole didn't go.
The first hadith is about sincerity and actions are accepted unless it's with sincerity. The second one is about adhering to the Sunnah. And the third one is about every matter religion is either halal or haram.
So you worship Allah, following the halal and leaving the haram. That's the main aspect of our life. Do what is halal and leave what is haram. This is what taqwa is. Yeah, alhamdulillah, that's good. Remember that. طيب, continue with the hadith inshallah. إنما الأعمال بالنيات. What did? Okay, we mentioned the hadith about من حفظ 40 حديثا من أمر الدين من هذه الأمة بعثه الله يوم القيامة فقيها عالما شاهدا شفيعا. All this hadith, you know that if you remember 40 hadith from the deen, from this ummah, you'll be raised as a scholar and a faqih. What's the hadith you got?
You mentioned about the hadith that regarding that are
Weak hadith, yeah. Alhamdulillah, yeah. Let's move on inshallah. We mentioned salaf. What does the word salaf mean?
to follow three generations.
Okay. The first three. Give me any hadith on that.
The Prophet said, first people and so on and so on. I don't know.
Okay. خير القرن ثم الذين يلونهم ثم الذين يلونهم. The best my generation, then those who came after them. That's the hadith which means the salaf al-salih, the pious predecessors. Can we say the kuffar, mushrik of the Quraysh, they're salaf from us? They are salaf. Can we say that? The non-Muslims?
They are salaf, but the internal Islam, they're not ours, we don't follow them.
We don't follow them. So, so you can't say it, or you can say it.
We can't say it.
Eh?
We can't follow them.
We can say, but we can't follow them. Go on.
He told last week before, the hand of Salah.
They are salaf. Okay. What do you say, Azhar?
You mentioned that the linguistic definition is those who precede it, but the definition istilahan is those who precede in time and in virtue. The kuffar haven't preceded us in virtue.
Okay, so in linguistically, they are salaf, but they are advanced. They came before us in terms of age and they lived before us. So they are salaf predecessors. Means salaf predecessors. They advanced us. In that sense, linguistically they are salaf, but in terms of virtues and iman, no, they are not. Only the believers from the Sahabas. Alhamdulillah. So if I say I'm salafi, what does it mean then?
Salafi is like you're attributing to a group of people. So like you're Salafi, you're Albani, you're Ashari. So it basically means, and you are the followers of the Salaf al-Salih.
So you're attributing yourself to Salaf al-Salih. MashaAllah. So if I say now, or if the Shaykh says, قال علماء من السلف والخلف, what would you understand from that?
The Salaf are the first generation, and the Khalaf are the people after.
Who came after them, the scholars? Yeah. That's good, alhamdulillah. Okay, final question now, final one. In the Quran, Allah said that udkhulul jannata bima kuntum ta'malun. Enter Jannah because of what you have done. So we enter Jannah because of our a'mal. And then Hadith said, لَن يَدْخُلَ الْجَنَّةَ أَحَدٌ مِنْ عَمَلِهِ. That none of you will enter Jannah because of his action. How do you do jump of that?
You mentioned that you won't enter Jannah by your actions alone, but by doing actions you can attain the mercy of Allah. Enter Jannah by that.
Okay, Azhar?
You mentioned it's not a bad sababiyah here.
Bima.
We said it's not an exchange. We don't get one.
Yeah, so
out there. It's not the same value.
Yeah.
But we still have to do actions.
Yeah. Go on, Manhaj. Yeah. Yes, he couldn't enter Jannah because of the action. He entered Jannah because of the mercy of Allah. So the ulama explained, enter the Jannah because of your action. This is bad sababiyya. Because of the action, you enter Jannah. Okay, you enter it. You worship me, go enter Jannah. The one hadith negates that. It's not sababiyya, it's iwab, meaning you're replacing it. So you don't enter Jannah because you're exchanging an action with Jannah, exchanging it. Okay, I'm going to give you 5 grand, you give me the car. You're exchanging it. No, you can't exchange. You can't exchange your action with Jannah because it's not worth it. You can't, never you can do that. Okay? So Jannah is high. You can't, your action, you can't attain in that sense. But because you worshipped Allah, yeah, Jannah is for you, you can enter it. So that's what the Bab Sababiyya and Bab Iwab, to exchange. So the hadith talking about negating the exchange bit. And the ayah affirming it because of that we enter Jannah. Because we worshipped Allah. Yeah. So that's okay. Let's continue inshallah. Hadith الثاني عن ابن عباس قال خطبنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في حجة الوداع فقال يا أيها الناس إني قد تركت فيكم ما إن اعتصمتم به فلن تضلوا أبدا كتاب الله وسنتي. طيب. Hadith narrated by Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. The Prophet said that, and he said that Prophet advised us, addressed us to the mankind في حجة الوداع. حجة الوداع is that farewell Hajj. Now the farewell Hajj is a Hajj the Prophet did once. Prophet did Hajj only once, and that was after conquest of Mecca. Okay, and the called farewell because that was after that he passed away, alayhi salam. Okay, last Hajj, without farewell Hajj. We have Tawaf al-Wida', farewell Tawaf. So this is the Hajj Prophet only did, and it was the farewell Hajj. And in the Hajj, in the Yawm al-Arafah, Prophet said to the people, so he addressing the people, admonishing the people, guiding the people, and this is a long khutbah he gave. You can download that. And the part of this khutbah, part of this admonishment is that he said, Ya ayyuhan nas, O mankind. Now the ulama, they talk about this address. Allah addressed in the Quran many ways. Ya ayyuhan nas u'budu rabbakum. O mankind, worship your Lord. Allah sometimes addressed by saying, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu taqullah. Or those who believe, fear Allah. You know, Ibn Masud said that when Allah addressed with Iman, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, pay attention to it because whatever comes after could be commanding you to do something or to leave something. Okay, so Allah addressed by Ahlul Iman, Ya ayyuhal ladhina aman, Ya ayyuhan nas. Then he says, Ya ayyuhan nabi, Ya ayyuhan rasul, Ya bani Israel, Ya ibn Adam. The many way Allah addresses in the Quran. And the ulama said that when we hear Ya ayyuhan nas, generally it means that include mankind, from Muslim, mu'min, kafir, munafiq, everybody enters in that. So maybe Prophet not only addressing the Muslim, maybe the kuffar is as well. Allahu alam. You know, so here, ya ayyuhan nas is general. He's generalizing it. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this was the advice he gave. After long advice, the most important part of advice, this is Manhaj of Ahlul Sunnah, Ahlul Hadith, is that Prophet said, indeed I have left in you, I have left two things, that if you were to hold on to it, you never be misguided. Now, if you hold on to it, you never be misguided. Now in the Quran Allah said, Subhanallah, وَاعْتَسِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. وَاعْتَسِمُوا, تَمَسَّكُوا, يعني hold on to the rope of Allah and never be divided. Now the ulama mentioned that this habl, rope of Allah, is the Quran. Okay, some say deen of Allah. Ibn Abbas, deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. Ibn Mas'ud said that in Baghawi mentioned that. He said here Hablullah ma'na al-jama'a, the jama'a. Okay, the consensus of the Salaf. That's the jama'a, unification. Okay, so Prophet said that if you hold on to that rope of Allah, you will never be misguided. Okay, that's the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, in the hadith here, Prophet said, I have left in you that if you hold on to it, you never be misguided. Book of Allah and my Sunnah. Okay, another hadith Prophet said that inni taraktu ala al-mahajjati al-bayda layluha kahanariha wa la yazighu anha illa halik. I have left my ummah in open field. Okay, clear as night and day. Okay, except if some were to misguide, it will be destroyed. For example, you're driving, the sign said one way. Okay, one way, clear as anything, and you go straight through and you crash. They're going to say, can you not see the sign? We left the sign, it's one way, you should be coming in this way. I didn't see it. They're not going to accept it. It's going to be, they might probably say, you can't, then you shouldn't be driving. And sign is so clear. So what I'm saying is the Prophet left the sign so clearly. He said, Mahajjat al-Bayda. Mahajja is the open field. Clear as anything. After all that, if you misguide it, you'll be destroyed. Nothing ambiguous. There is no unclearness. It's clear. Okay? And in the hadith, Prophet said that these all hadith are manhaj. Following the Sunnah, following the Quran and the Sunnah. Okay? He said that كل أمتي يدخلون الجنة إلا من أبى. فقالوا يا رسول الله من أبى يعني أن يدخل الجنة؟ قال من أطاعني دخل الجنة ومن عصاني فقد أبى. The Prophet said that every my ummah will enter Jannah except those who refuse. They said, O Messenger of Allah, who refused to enter Jannah? He said, those who obey me will enter Jannah, those who disobey me has refused to enter Jannah. That's the methodology we follow. If you want to enter Jannah, then follow Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Follow the Quran and the Sunnah. Don't follow your hawa, don't do bid'ah, don't do innovation. Okay? That goes against the methodology, what Prophet is sent with. So he's promising that now. It's a promise, like a promise. I've left in you that if you were to hold on to it, you never be misguided. But look at this, the grammar is very important here. Prophet did not say, فَلَا تَدِلُّوا or تَدُلُّوا, فَلَا تَدُلُّوا. He said, فَلَنْ تَدُلُّوا. You never be misguided. This word lan here, abadiyah. The lan comes in the Quran many form. One is lan is used to negate, total negation. Like, فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا وَلَنْ تَفْعَلُوا. You know, Allah mentioned in the Quran that He challenges the Quraysh. If you doubt what I have revealed to my messenger, then bring something like that. Then Allah, now the challenge comes in now. Allah said, you haven't done it, yani produce a Quran like that, and you'll never do it. You'll never do it. So also in the Quran Allah said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ لَن يَخْلُقَ الذُّبَابَ. Those who worship other than Allah, لَن يَخْلُقَ الذُّبَابَ. Those who worship the idols, they cannot create a dhubab, a fly. And that's never ever they can do it. So why are you worshipping that? You know? That's one. Lan here mean abadiya, ever. Here, this hadith here, lan tadillu, or lan tadullu abada, that you never be misguided. Never. Because if you follow Quran and Sunnah, how can you be misguided? It's clear. Unless you turn away from it, then you'll be misguided. Prophet is promising that. You'll never be misguided. I'm guaranteeing you that. It's guaranteed. You're upon Siratul Mustaqim. طيب. So in this hadith, lan indicate that our guidance is abadiyah. This will you will never be misguided if you hold on to the Quran and the Sunnah. So Prophet said, Book of Allah and my Sunnah. The Sunnah is mentioned in the Quran. It doesn't mention directly Sunnah, but ulama said, وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ, that he will teach you the book and hikmah. The ulama say hikmah means the Sunnah. Okay? The Sunnah comes in the Quran. This is the tafsir of the Mufassirun. So Prophet promised that if you follow the book of Allah, if we get the verse at Surah Jum'ah, I think, وَيُعَلِّمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ Surah Jum'ah. Yeah, طيب, Sunnah. So, some of the ulama says that Sunnah and the Quran, okay? Ibn Taymiyyah said, As-Sunnah tufassir al-Quran. Sunnah explains the Quran. You know, there's the Quraniyun. They say we don't follow Sunnah, we just follow Quran. How are you going to worship Allah with the Sunnah? Allah said, Aqimus Salah. Establish your prayer. Okay, how? What do I say in ruku'? What do I say when I get up from ruku'? How many rak'ah do I pray? How many times? How many rak'at? You can't. You have to go to the Sunnah. So Sunnah explains the Quran. And some of the Salaf said that if the people need the Sunnah more than the Quran, Subhanallah. Hajj, you have to go to the Sunnah to know how to make Hajj. Anything. So without Sunnah, how are you going to worship Allah Azza wa Jal? So Sunnah and the Kitab and the Sunnah goes together, hand in hand. So Prophet said that if you hold on to the Kitab and the Sunnah, you'll never be misguided. What does Sunnah mean, my brothers? Sunnah, lughatan ma'na tariqa. Okay, it's a way, it's a path. And the Prophet used the word Sunnah in the Hadith to as a mean of a path, a way. When he said, La tarkabunna sunanan. Allah talking about the Jews. He's saying to the Prophet saying to the companion, you'll follow the sunan, the path, who came before you. The sunnah mean a path, a way. Now sunnah has a different definitions according to the ulama. According to the muhaddithun, sunnah mean refers to every statement, every action, every approval. This is the muhaddithun says, this is what sunnah is. Sunnah according to the muhaddithun is that every action, every statement, every approval is sunnah of the Prophet is sunnah. That's what muhaddithun says. The fuqaha says sunnah mean something refers to mustahab. It's something sunnah we have to do, optional. Okay, so scholars have given different definition of sunnah. Some of the ulama sunnah mean aqidah, belief, because a lot of books are written, they're named as sunnah. Okay, like Imam Ahmed wrote a book as sunnah, Imam Khallal wrote a book as sunnah. So sunnah sometimes they used to as a meaning of aqidah, belief. So Prophet is saying that if you hold on to my book and my sunnah, you'll never be misguided. Never be misguided. طيب. Now here Kitabullah. Okay, Kitabullah, the Quran. What is the definition of Al-Quran? The ulama have explained. Quran is from the word qara'a. Yaqra'u Qur'ana. Qara'a, to read, Quran means matlu, to be recited. That's what Quran is. Should be recited, Book of Allah. Now, Shaykh al-Islam, he gave the definition of Al-Quran. I want you to remember this. He said, Al-Quran, Kitabul Quran, هو معنى كلام الله منزل غير مخلوق منه بدأ وإليه يعود. Five things. He says Quran is speech of Allah. Okay? Revealed book. Okay? Is uncreated. And from Allah it came, and it will go up back to Allah Azza wa Jal. So it has 5 things. So it's speech of Allah. Okay? Munazzal is revealed book. Uncreated, the word of Allah is uncreated. We'll explain all that. And it came from Allah, and it will go back to Allah again. That's the Quran. We talk about the speech of Allah. Okay, let's take one by one. Kalamullah. Quran is Kalamullah, and he mentioned this is the speech of Allah. Yani, Allah spoke to Jibreel, and he came down. So Allah spoke to him. The Quran revealed to him exactly the way he heard from Allah. He told Prophet ﷺ exactly word by word and the meaning. Okay, that's speech of Allah, and Allah attribute himself to himself. Kalamullah. And in the Quran Allah said, وَإِنْ أَحَدٌ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ إِسْتَجَارَكَ فَأَجِرْهُ حَتَّى يَسْمَعَ كَلَامَ اللَّهِ. If any of the mushrik were to came to you to seek refuge, help, then give him the refuge, help, so he can hear the Kalamullah. The word Kalamullah is mentioned. So Allah made this idafa, possesses, my speech. So Quran is speech of Allah. غير مخلوق will explain how. Now that's number one. So we establish speech of Allah. There are many verses as well anyway. Munazzal, it is revealed. Revealed from Allah to Jibreel, and Jibreel came down to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah said, Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidun. Sorry. Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra. Indeed, we have revealed this dhikr, Quran, and we will preserve it. So nazzalna, we revealed it. So it's munazzal, it's revealed book. Okay? Now, ghayru makhluq. The speech of Allah is uncreated. No one, you can ask me later, inshallah, if it's not clear. I'm trying to go slow as much as I can. What do we understand by speech of Allah is makhluk, and ghayru makhluk, it's uncreated. You know, we have attribute. We speak, we smile, we get angry, we move, we walk. These are all attributes of human being, isn't it? We get tired, we sleep. They are created by Allah, isn't it? Allah gave us this. That's our attribute. Allah has attributes. Mahabba, hearing, seeing, speech, kalam. Allah speaks to us, and He will speak to us on the Day of Judgment. There will be no translators. Can you come and translate for me? La. You're going to be speaking to Allah by yourself. Yawm al-Qiyamah. He'll ask you questions. Why do you do this? Why did you do this? Everybody going to speak to Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? So Allah speaks, and when He speaks with huruf, letters. So like the Quran, it has letters. So when you speak, we have letters, isn't it? Likewise, Allah speaks with letters and meaning. The Quran with meaning and word. We believe that. Huruf al-ma'na. Tayyib. So when Allah speaks, and when He spoke to Jibreel, and Jibreel came to Prophet ﷺ, that's the Quran. So, like the way we speak is our attribute, isn't it? Speech is our attribute. Likewise, the speech of Allah is the attribute, which is the Quran. So we say the speech of Allah, Quran, is uncreated. Because if we say it's created, then it's Allah is created. His hearing, His seeing, other attributes are created. Yadu billah. But our hearing, our speech, everything that we do is created by Allah. But attributes of Allah is uncreated. Okay? So that's what it means. Quran, ghayru makhluq. And that was the biggest trial that Imam Ahmed had to go through, isn't it? So it's very important aqidah to believe that Quran is ghayru makhluq. And for someone to say Quran is created, a'udhu billah, we're not talking about the cover, we're talking about the speech, that will take out of all of Islam. To say Quran, the speech of Allah is makhluq. Tayyib. So what is the evidence for this? The ulama said, Ala lahul khalq wal amr. Even to Allah belong the khalq and the amr. So the khalq is the creation. And the ulama say amr is the command of Allah, which is the Quran. Okay? Which is the Quran. The Imam Ahmad used this ayah to say the Quran is غير مخلوق. Use this ayah and the other ulama as well. But if you want to go more detail, we can say the amr of Allah, command of Allah are two types, kawniyya and shar'iyya. Okay? Kawniyya, the command of Allah that relate to universal command, the decree, sun rising, setting, rain coming down, sun coming down, everything that's happening in the heaven and earth by the commandment of Allah. That is the amr kawniyya that relate to the universal command. Okay? The decree of Allah. Everything that happens is the decree of Allah, is Allah's command. Flood, earthquake, famine, death. This all is a command of Allah Azza wa Jal, but it is related to the universal command. Okay? The second type of command, إنما أمره إذا أراد الله شيئا يقول له كن فيكون. Indeed, the command of Allah is that if you want something, He say be and becomes. Okay? The second type of amr is amrul shar'iyya, that relate to the sharia of Allah, which is the Quran. And with the command and the prohibitions. These are all, that's what we're talking about. This Quran is the command of Allah, speech of Allah, which is uncreated. So that's the evidence. Ala lahul khalq wal amr. You can use the ayah to establish that Allah's speech uncreated. And also that speech of Allah is His attributes. It can't be created anyway. A'udhu billah. Also you can use another hadith. One Prophet said that أعوذ بكلمات الله تامة من شر ما خلق. That أعوذ بكلمات الله, I seek protection by the speech of Allah from the evil. Now, if someone were to leave the house and go to the house and read that dua, he'll be protected until he comes back to his house. That's what it is. Okay? So, you're not saying أعوذ بالله, أعوذ بكلمات الله. I seek protection by the speech of Allah. Why? Because the speech of Allah is uncreated. So the ulama says that if the speech of Allah is uncreated, that's what you can do. Isti'adha. Seek aid by the attributes of Allah Azza wa Jal. Like with the Quran, the speech of Allah. You can say, I make vow by the Quran. I swear by the Quran. You mean the speech of Allah. Nothing wrong with that. So that's what it means, uncreated. And that's the verse you can use, ala lahul khalq wal amr. And Imam Ahmad used this ayah to establish, prove that Allah's command, which is the Quran, is uncreated. Because Allah said, ala lahul khalq wal amr. Wow here means, mughayar, the ulama says, which separate between two things. Okay? The creation and the command. They're two separate things. You can't bring them together. Tayyib, the fourth thing is that, minhu bada'a. Meaning that Quran came from Allah, and we can use the verse like inna nahnu nazzalna dhikr. Indeed, we have revealed the Quran. So it came from Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? And wa ilayhi ya'ud, and it will go back to Allah. And Hadith of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, toward the end of the hour, Allah will take the Quran away from the chest of the people. No one will remember anything except Allah. Even then, Allah will not cause the day of judgment to start. Even if a man saying Allah, until nobody remembers Allah. So the Quran will be taken away. The word will be taken up to Allah Azza wa Jal. Hadith ibn Mas'ud, yeah. So there are evidences for these five the pillars of the definition of the Quran. The speech of Allah, revealed, uncreated, from Him it came and will go back to Allah. These are five important parts of the definition of the Quran. Ibn Taymiyyah mentioned in Wasatiyah. Alhamdulillah. So that's the first hadith. So this hadith, my brothers, is the manhaj of Ahlul Hadith. Is that we stick to Quran and the Sunnah. Prophet said, "Lan tadillu." Okay? Or "Lan tadullu," that you will never be misguided ever, as long as you hold to the Quran, the Book of Allah, and the Sunnah. That's the methodology of the Ahlul Hadith. To worship Allah based on Quran and Sunnah. Stick to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Okay? طيب. The next hadith, should we go more time?
Yes.
Yeah? طيب. The next hadith is hadith of Irbad bin Sariya. قال وعظنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم موعظة وجلت منها القلوب وذرفت منها العيون قلنا يا رسول الله كأنها موعظة مودعا فأوصنا قال أوصيكم بالتقوى الله وسمع الطاعة وأن تأمر عليكم العبد الحبشة وإنه من يعيش منهم فسيرى اختلافا كثيرا فعليكم بسنتي وسنة خلفاء الراشدين مهديين عضوا عليها بالنواجذ وإياكم ومحدثات الأمور فإن كل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Beautiful hadith, long hadith. Hadith of Irbad bin Sariya قال وعذنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم موعظة. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم admonished us, okay, he admonished us, advised us, موعظة. وجلت منها القلوب وذرفت منها العيون. That when they heard this advice, the Sahaba saying that وجلت منها القلوب, our heart were in fear and our eyes were in tears. And it is the attribute of the believers. Scholars have spoken about the believers. One of the attributes of the believers is that when they hear the Quran, they cry. Their heart is in fear. In Surah Al-Anfal, Ayah 2, Allah said, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ وَإِذَا تُلِيَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُهُ زَادَتْهُمْ إِيمَانًا وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. Allah said that indeed the believers, that when the Quran is recited to them and the signs, their heart is in fear. Okay? And the Iman increases. So sign of the believers, my brothers, is that when they hear the Quran and when they hear the word of Allah, and should put fear in their heart, and they should put tears in their heart. And we know that tears are not a simple thing to come from the eyes. Only if you fear Allah. And some of the Salaf, they lost their eyesight because of the crying so much. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, that when he was crying out of fear of Allah Azza wa Jal, he lost his eyesight. And doctor said that if somebody who had knowledge of this, and he said, if you stop crying, then you will get your eyesight back, you'll get better. He said, what's the point having an eye that doesn't shed tears out of fear of Allah? What's the point having an eye that doesn't shed tears out of fear of Allah? You don't have to shed tears because of fear of Allah. You can shed tears out of love of Allah. Oh, I'm missing my Lord. I want to meet Him. I'm crying. Something like that. You can smile. You can shed tears out of happiness. طيب. So the Sahabas, when they heard the maw'idah, when they heard the advice, He put fear in their heart, and their heart was in fear and the eyes were in tears. Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu, he had a mark on his eye because he was crying so much. So Uthman radiallahu anhu, this was the Salaf. It's not something making up, but they had fear of Allah, they had taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jalla, and they had enormous fear. And whenever they read Quran and hear the word of Allah, the heart will tremble, in fear. So here, وَذَرَفَتْ مِنْهَا الْعُيُونَ. And they said, قُلْنَا يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. We said, O Messenger of Allah. Now here, Ya Harfun Nida, Prophet was in front of them, alive, able to hear them. So they said, Ya Rasulullah is allowed. Now you can't say Ya Rasulullah. It is like, this advice is like advice of muwaddi'an. It is a farewell advice, which means that this is the last advice Prophet is giving, meaning he's going to leave the companions. So they felt that we're going to lose our Prophet. So advise us, فَأَوْصِينَا. So what is the advice of Prophet ﷺ? Earn your money, be rich, have a lot of wealth. La, that wasn't advice. What did he say? أُوصِيكُمْ بِالتَّقْوَى اللَّهِ. I advise you with the taqwa of Allah. That's the first advice. What is taqwa? When we translate taqwa of Allah, we say God-fearing or piety or something like that. But taqwa is explained by the ulama. Two athar, it's not hadith, athar. One I'll give all of them inshallah. First one is Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu. He went to Ubay bin Ka'ab radiallahu anhu and he said, Ya Ubay, ما هو التقوى؟ قال هل مشيت طريقا ذا شوكة؟ قال نعم. قال ماذا صنعت؟ قال شمرت. Okay? قال فذاك التقوى. He said that Ubay was asked by Umar, Amir al-Mu'mineen, what is taqwa? He said, have you walked on a path that has a thorn? He said, yes, I did. What did you do? He said, I lifted my garment, I was very careful, and so I don't tread on the thorn. He said, this is taqwa. I mentioned this before as well. Someone might say, how is it taqwa, walking on the road? He said, it is taqwa because the thorn represents the sins and the road represents your life. Okay? So as you're walking on the road which has thorn, you don't want to step on it because it's going to hurt you. Lead your life like that. Don't step on the sins, it's going to hurt you. So he said, so taqwa is to worship Allah, leave the thorn, leave the sin. Abandon the sin, don't fall into sin. Part of taqwa. And Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu was asked same thing. And he said, same wording, which means I turned away, moved away. And that's taqwa. And so basically taqwa is to worship Allah, to summarize it, to worship Allah by doing what He commanded you to do and leave what He forbade. Leave the muharramat and do the wajibat. The least we can do is that do the fara'id and leave the kaba'ir, major sins. Minor sins we're going to fall into it because it's promised. It's promised because Prophet said in the Hadith, khamsa salawat, okay? كفرت خمس صلوات بين جمعة وبين العيد okay كفرت من الذنوب لم يرتكب الكبائر that between every salawat between Jum'ah and Eid or Ramadan I think that it is كفارات الذنوب, expiation of the sin. It is minor sin obviously except the one who does not commit major sins. So abandon, meaning that if you commit major sins that's the kafarat. You have to make tawbah for the major sins, okay? But for the minor sins, your salah will remove it. Your salah will not remove the major sins. You have to make tawbah to Allah for the major sins, okay? So every day we pray 5 times a day. Between the salawat, all your minor sins are wiped off. Because of the ayah in the Quran, Allah said, Innal hasanat yudhibna sayyi'at. That indeed your hasanat, the hasanat here mean what? Who knows? Huh? Hasanat mean what?
No obligation.
La, hasanat, salah. Innal hasanat, afu you know it, but don't worry inshallah. Innal hasanat yudhibna sayyi'ah. Indeed hasanat remove the bad deed. Sayyi'at here mean minor sins. Okay? If it was fawahish or fahisha, then it's major sin. But sayyi'at, that refers to minor sins. So innal hasanat, indeed salah removes your minor sins. Like wudu as well. When you make wudu, sin falls off. Your salah, subhanallah. So when you go to ruku', your sin falls off. You know? So this is the importance of salah. So that's what taqwa is. Doing what Allah commands us to do, leave what Allah forbade, the major sins. Tayyib. That's the first advice Prophet gave the people to have taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal. What is the ruling of taqwa? Wajib. Everyone have to fear Allah Azza wa Jal. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu taqullah haqqa tuqati. Or those who believe fear Allah, they should be truly fear Allah Azza wa Jal. And they should be feared. He didn't stop there. He continued, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He said, As-sam'u wa ta'a. Wa in tammara alaykum al-abd al-habashi. This is very important. This is the principle of al-hadith, manhaj. To hear and obey. Who? The rulers. He is advising about the rulers. Allah says in the Quran, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu ati'u Allah wa ati'u Rasul wa uli amri minkum. Allah said, all those who believe, obey Allah and His Messenger and uli amri minkum. And all in the authority over you. And there are two tafsir of those in the authority over you. Ibn Abbas said, the scholars. Abu Hurairah said, the hukam, the rulers. They are on the authority over us. So here Prophet said, when you have a ruler, you have to obey him. You have to listen to him. Even if Abdul Habashi, you know Habasha, yeah? What did Prophet mention Habasha? If it's somebody lower than you are, black, doesn't matter what color he is, doesn't matter how he looks like, doesn't matter how small he is, you have to obey him. You have to obey that person. You pray behind him. You do Hajj with him. Okay? You can't revolt against him. Revolting is not allowed. We'll mention why. Revolting are two types. Revolting verbally, and it is happened to some of the scholars, alhamdulillah, and physically, and this is terrible. Never, there's no success in that. طيب. So we obey the ruler, we listen to him in ma'roof, in good. Okay? We do not obey them in sins. No one we obey. Okay, obedience are two types, by the way. Ta'a mutlaq, ta'a ghayr mutlaq. Ta'a mutlaq, absolute obedience to Allah and His Messenger. There is no ifs and buts. Ta'a ghayr mutlaq, which is not absolute, a creation, like your parents, the rulers, your teachers, whatever. As long as they do not command me to do something against the Sharia, I obey them. But if they do, then I don't obey them. Like with the rulers, you obey them in khair, in ma'roof, but you do not disobey them in good. Okay? The Ahlul Hadith, the pure of the Sunnah, pure of the Hadith, they pray behind the rulers who are fasiq. You pray behind the ruler who is a fasiq. Okay? So, like Uthman radiallahu anhu prayed behind Walid bin Mughira and others. He would drink alcohol and subhanallah, and they would pray behind it, because why? You don't revolt against them, because the harm is greater. Also, Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu prayed behind the Khawarij, because the majority of the scholars say they're still Muslims, they're upon dalala, bid'ah, but they're still Muslim. He prayed behind Khawarij. So Abdullah bin Zubayr as well radiallahu anhuma. Tayyib. So we have to follow the rulers in good. Whereas the Khawarij, they revolt against the rulers. That's where they go wrong. Big mistake. And they revolt. Why did they revolt? For enjoying good, forbidding evil. And we say no, we don't do that, because the mafsada is great. Okay? The mafsada is greater if we were to revolt with the ruler. Okay? There's no mafsada, because the qaida is that we can give many qaida. لا يزال or لا يزيل الضرر بضرر. Okay? Or لا يزال الضرر بضرر. You do not remove the harm with the harm. That's one you can see. Another way you can look into it, that درء المفاسد مقدم جلب المصالح. That removing the harm takes the precedence over gaining the benefit. So now, if you were to revolt with the rulers, okay, and the mafsada is great, you don't revolt, because the bloodshed, mafsada is greater, there's no maslaha. You may be the 10% maslaha. So why did Allah Azza wa Jal forbid drinking alcohol when there's a maslaha and a benefit in there? Allah said there's a benefit, but He still made it haram. Why? Do you know why? Because the mafsada is greater, the harm is greater, even if there's a little benefit. So if you can revolt, and there's a little benefit, but the harm is greater, you don't revolt. You don't revolt. Because the Sharia came for that, for greater maslaha, and removing the mafsada. Okay? And Al-Izz bin Abdus Salam, his whole book on this. So, that's one of the important reasons where we don't do khuruj. Okay? Now, the hadith says, except if we see kufr al-bawah, open kufr, like calling you to worship him, making halal into haram, haram into halal, things like that, open kufr, open shirk. Then the ulama says, then it is allowed for you to make khuruj with the ruler, with the amir, as long as there is still is control, mafsada is no great. Look at this example. Let me give you an example. Subhanallah. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, and his student Ibn al-Qayyim. Okay? Ibn al-Qayyim, you know the Mongolians, yeah? What happened was that they were drinking alcohol, and they killed a lot of Muslims. So they're drinking alcohol. So Ibn al-Qayyim was going to stop the evil, isn't it? Ibn Taymiyyah said, let them drink, because that is stopping from greater mafsada. So maslaha is better, so they won't kill the Muslims. See that? Let them be busy drinking alcohol, which is harm, but will preventing greater harm, which is they're not killing the Muslims. Okay? So you look at maslaha and mafsada. This is our Sharia based on maslaha and mafsada. And the definition given by Imam Shawkani and others. And then one of the qaida is that, that Allah does not command anything except there is a greater benefit or partial benefit. He does not prohibit anything except there is a greater harm or partial harm. So anything that's forbidden, like khuruj, revolting with the rulers, is forbidden in Islam because mafsada is great. Like Hadith Ubadah bin Samit radiallahu anhu. He said that we gave allegiance to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to obey him and he listened to him, and not to make khuruj with the rulers. You can't make khuruj. Look at the if you look back in history, give me where there was a khuruj, revolting rulers, okay, revolting against the rulers, there was a maslahah benefit in it. There's no benefit in it, except it's harm, bloodshed, fasad. People talk about making khuruj in Muslim countries. Actually, you can't do it. Muslims going to get killed, place of land of Hajj and all. How can you make khuruj? Yadu billah. So people don't think we don't make khuruj. Peacemakers. We follow the dalil and proof. We go to the scholars and the ulama, and they will make the judgment, because khuruj, there's no benefit in it. Revolting against the ruler, there's no benefit in it. Prophet even described the person who died jahiliyyah. That's the phrase. Mata mayit al-jahiliyyah. Mata mayit al-jahiliyyah. He died death of jahiliyyah, which is major sin, because your death is attributed to jahiliyyah. Yadu billah. So, Prophet, this is the manhaj of Ahlul Hadith, methodology. We stick to the Quran and the Sunnah. We do not revolt with the rulers. This is one of the biggest manhaj, methodology. It's way of the Khawarij. We don't follow the way of the Khawarij. Revolting in the name of enjoying good, forbidding evil. La, we don't do that. Tayyib. So this is important. We understand the khuruj. It is not allowed. You ask any ulama. You don't do that. If someone says Abdullah bin Zubayr, he made khuruj with Hajjaj, we say he made mistake. The Sahaba told him not to do that. Hajjaj bin Yusuf crucified Abdullah bin Zubayr radiallahu anhu, yadu billah. But he was wrong. Abdullah bin Zubayr was wrong to do that. And the Sahaba told him not to do that. So his action is not hujjah. His action is not a dalil for us. He's Sahih Muslim, he's there.
Ibn Umar and Ibn Abbas.
Yeah, they told him not to do that. Okay? So, yadu billah. Sad when you read the death of Abdullah bin Zubayr. It's really sad. Tayyib. So his action is not hujjah. Other Sahaba didn't agree with Abdullah bin Zubayr. Tayyib. Radiallahu anhu. Then Prophet said, وَإِنَّ مَنْ يَعِيشْ مِنْكُمْ فَسَيَرَى اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. After that, people will come, will see a lot of differences among you. You will see a lot of differences. We see a lot of differences. Tafarruq. Prophet said, didn't say, go now. Khalas, I finished my advice. No, he continued. He gave them advice. He gave them the cure. That's the disease. Ikhtilaf is disease. Okay? Hadith said, Ikhtilaf is rahmah da'if. This is a weak hadith. Okay? Then he says, that's the methodology of Ahlul Sunnah. فَعَلَيْكُمْ بِسُنَّتِي وَسُنَّةَ خُلَفَاء الرَّاشِدِينَ مَهْدِيِّينَ. Upon you to follow my sunnah and the sunnah of the Khulafa Rashideen. Now, Prophet said, alaykum, upon you, wajib on you to follow my sunnah and the sunnah of the Khulafa Rashideen, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali. Now, we're going to say now, Prophet had a sunnah and the four Khulafa Rashideen had a sunnah, like same sunnah. Same sunnah. Now, I want to bring something in attention. So, we said the bid'ah is what? To follow the Quran and the Sunnah. We should follow the Quran and the Sunnah, yeah? Tayyib. And not to go against his Sunnah. Now can we say now, Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu, he did the jam' of the Tarawih, isn't it? Uthman, time of Abu Bakr, they did the jam' of the Quran. Okay? Can we say now it is bid'ah because they did something the Prophet never did? The Umar one, Prophet did pay Tarawih. See, they did Jama'ah. Then he stopped it because he believed, he feared that it might become wajib. But he did not reprimand. So what Umar did was from Sunnah, and the Sahaba never disagreed with that. And when he said, what a beautiful bid'ah this is, it took him a linguistic bid'ah, which we are going to cover inshallah. Then the jam of the Quran, what is jam of the Quran? The Quran was, they brought the Quran together. Prophet never did it. Can we say Sahabas made bid'ah because they did something, Prophet never done it? We say no. They never did bid'ah, because the ulama said that at the time of Prophet ﷺ, there was no need for bringing the Quran together. The Prophet was alive. When Prophet died, ﷺ, time of Abu Bakr Siddiq, when he became a Khalifa to the Muslimin, there was a man called Musaylim al-Kadhdhab. He claimed to be a prophet in time of the Prophet ﷺ, and he would say to Prophet ﷺ, his name Rasulullah. He would say he's Rasulullah, yadu billah. So Prophet would say Muhammad Abdullah Rasulullah, over he's the Rasulullah, and he would send him a letter, a'udhu billah. Anyway, Prophet did not do anything, okay, he left him. There was nothing against him, physically nothing happened. When Prophet passed away, alayhi salam, Abu Bakr became the Khalifa. He gathered the army, and he fought the Musaylim al-Hajjaj al-Kadhdhab, the liar, and his army, until they killed him and the army. Okay, all of them. So what happened? A lot of people died from the Sahaba, the Huffaz, they died. Okay, so Umar feared that we don't have the Prophet, we have a lot of Huffaz is gone now. What we going to do with the Quran? We have to bring the Quran together, because the mafsada is greater than the maslaha. Mafsada is that we will lose the Quran. There will be no Huffaz. Where are we going to have the Quran now? So even the Prophet didn't do it. He never reprimanded. Secondly, they had to do it out of necessity, where is that bring the Quran together for greater maslaha, for greater benefit. So that's what they have done. Okay, Abu Bakr, Umar, Zayd bin Thabit, all the Huffaz came together and they had to bring the Quran in one book for the greater maslaha. Imagine they didn't do it, where is the Quran going to be? So they did it that, from that aspect. So it's no bid'ah. Can we say now, the Uthman, he introduced adhan, two adhan. Prophet, Abu Bakr, Umar, there was only one adhan for Jum'ah. Two adhan, who introduced? Uthman. So can we say now Uthman committed bid'ah because he did not follow the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, alaykum bi sunnati, okay? Why you Uthman introduced the second adhan? Prophet didn't do it, Abu Bakr ibn Umar didn't do it, why are you doing it? Uthman did not make mistake for what he has done, okay? What he has done was right in his time. And I want you to learn this, inshallah. We should remember one another, remind one another, is that we have a principle in Islam, is that al-hukmu yadur ma'al illa. Ruling goes round a reason. Now, the ulama explained that at the time of Prophet ﷺ, Abu Bakr and Umar, their situation was same. They never needed second adhan. At the time of Uthman, when he became Khalifa al-Muslimin, what happened was Medina increased, Muslim increased. Okay? So based on the Quran and Sunnah and the principles, he made his ijtihad. And there was nothing wrong with that. His situation forced him to make this ijtihad. Prophet never had to do that. Abu Bakr, Umar never had to do that. He had to do it because of the situation. He's Amir al-Mu'mineen. What's he going to do? So he said, second adhan, go and do in the market. So his situation allowed him to do that. And that's from Sharia, you can do that, isn't it? So if you're in a situation where you're going to die, you drink. If you have to drink alcohol, if you have to drink, if you have to eat pig to save your life, you do it because the situation allows you to do that. His situation allows him to allow second adhan, and he was then wrong in that. Okay, now to do second adhan is bid'ah because the situation of Uthman is same as situation as now. Go back to the principle. The ruling goes around the reason. What is the reason of Uthman? Is same as now? No, you can't apply that. You can't give second adhan. You understand?
I mean, they do it in most now, isn't it?
Yes.
They do it, but it's bid'ah. Why is bid'ah? Because you can't apply the hukum of Uthman. Uthman living his time is the same as in our time. It's different time. His situation is different. If someone is dying in the desert, drinking alcohol, and I'm sitting in Whitechapel, if we both drink alcohol, is it the same hukum? Is it the same? Is it the same? Why not?
I said I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Is it the same?
No, it's not the same.
How?
Because you're not being forced.
You're not forced, no, but he's living in desert, he's going to die.
Yeah, he has to survive.
Daruriya. Am I dying? So can I drink? No, it's haram for me. So Uthman radiallahu anhu, he gave two adhan because of his situation forced him to do that. Because he had no choice. But now we have microphone.
So is it because everyone would have been late for the masjid?
Maybe, whatever. He needs the situation better. And he did not go against the Sunnah because the Sharia allows you to make ijtihad.
I thought it's because he was going to get in trouble because once he went into the Jumu'ah late and he didn't ghusl, Umar Khattab reprimanded him.
Whatever no, but Umar wasn't alive then. He's the Khalifa. This adhan he was a Khalifa and he introduced the two adhan. Okay? So what Uthman did was right for his time. Okay, so you can't apply the hukum now because, like Ibn Taymiyyah said, إِذَا عُدِمَتِ الْعِلَّةِ عُدِمَتِ الْحُكُمِ. That if there's no illah, reason, there's no hukum, there's no ruling, you can't establish ruling when there's no reason. So you can't say now we're going to do adhan because Uthman did. Hang on a minute. Uthman did it because he has a reason. That reason doesn't apply here now. You can give adhan, people can hear it. Okay, send somebody to go to the market and do adhan or something like that. No, you can't. So it's bid'ah. It's bid'ah. Understand now? So the ruling goes against, there has to be illah, there must be a reason for you to do that. And Uthman had a reason. Tayyib. Like for example, I'm praying standing up, or somebody is praying sitting down, I'm praying sitting down as well. Because he's praying sitting down, and I'm praying sitting down. But he can't. He's got reason to pray sitting down. I have no reason. I'm okay. So I can't use that. He's ruling on me. Understand? So that's what it is. Based on the situation, everything happens. Tayyib. So here Prophet ﷺ telling us to follow his sunnah and the sunnah of the Khulafa Rashideen. And we said there's sunnah, same sunnah. It's not two sunnah, one sunnah. Then Prophet ﷺ said, عَضُّ عَلَيْهَا بِالنَّوَاجِذ. عَضُّ, bite it upon the sunnah with nawajiz. Nawajiz is the molar teeth. How can you bite sunnah with the molar teeth? Prophet is striking an example. You know when you bite something with the molar teeth, it's stronger than just normal teeth, isn't it? Okay? So biting here means hold on to it. Tamassaku. Hold on to it strongly. Practice your sunnah strongly. And do not abandon the sunnah. Hold on to it. Practice it. Don't leave your sunnah. فَإِنَّ كُلَّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ وَكُلَّ ضَلَالَةٍ فِي النَّارِ. Indeed, every bid'ah is misguided. And every misguided is in the hellfire. Shows the threat of falling into bid'ah. This is hadith talking about the manhaj of Ahlul Hadith. That we have to stick to Quran and Sunnah and don't do bid'ah. Keep away from the bid'ah. Okay? So, this is the third hadith we covered, my brothers. Inshallah, we'll do the next hadith next week. If there is any question, inshallah, I'll take it now. Jazakumullah khair.
Normal adhan, when they say, when the mu'adhin says Allah Akbar, you say Allah Akbar, and so on and so forth. Shaykh Yahya mentioned, when they do two adhan for Jum'ah, during the first adhan you don't reply. Is that correct?
Yeah, the first adhan is not the adhan. It's not the proper adhan. No. So what is the adhan of Jummah? Okay. Let me explain this now. Hadith talks about that a person whoever makes wudu, should make ghusl, makes wudu and goes to the masjid. There is no sunnah rawatib for Jummah. Okay? You go to the masjid, you pray as long as Imam comes. 2, 8, 6, 8, 10, whatever. Ibn Umar, Ibn Masud, they prayed 8 or 10 rak'ah. That's got nothing to do with Jum'ah. Okay, you pray Sunnatul Mutlaq as long as the Imam comes, 20 rakat, 24, 28, 30, whatever. Nothing wrong with that. You pray hatta yasha Allah, until Allah wills. Okay, you keep praying. Or you can pray 2 Tahiyatul Masjid and sit down to the Quran, no problem. Whatever you want to do, you can do that. Okay, so you pray until the Imam comes, or read Quran, Surah Kahf, whatever, until the Imam comes. When the Imam comes, he faces the people, he gives salam, he sits down, adhan is given. That's the adhan. That's the only adhan. Okay? And that's it. And the second adhan they give, nowadays, it's not from the sunnah. They don't. And a lot of people, they pray 4 rak'ah for Jummah. There's no 4 rak'ah for Jummah. You pray before the Jummah, before the Imam comes. And that's it. And one adhan, Imam stands up, give khutbah and the khalas. That's it. That's the way sunnah is. That's how we pray in Manhaj.
So, are you saying we don't reply to the first one or second one? Shaykh says first one.
Oh yeah, the first one you don't reply. But which one do you mean the first one? Their first one?
Their first.
No, you don't. The second adhan is, my brother, is the one adhan is the one the Imam walks in, and he goes to the minbar, he faces the Imam and gives salam, That's the adhan. And that's when you reply.
So you just ignore that first of all, like it's not
Yeah, ignore it. It doesn't exist. And also, there's no bayan in the Jum'ah. It's bid'ah. If you study the question, the khutbah should be, the most authentic opinion I follow is that khutbah should be given to the language of the people. Okay? It doesn't have to be Arabic. Because it's advice to the people, you stand and give in English, Arabic, Chinese, whatever the people understand, their language, and that's the khutbah should be. The bayan before is not from the sunnah, it's bid'ah.
What do you mean by bayan?
Bayan, before the khutbah, they give bayan, a clarification. Okay, Bangla. Basically, what you're going to say in khutbah is says in English or Bengali, whatever. Yeah. So that's not from the sunnah as well.
You know, you said it should be given in the language of the people. Does that mean that the khatib can't say in alhamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu?
That's khutbah al-haja, isn't it? That should be Arabic, yeah. But actual speech should be in language of the people, yeah.
You know, when you walk into a lot of these masjids, you just see the imam sitting down, just talking Bengali to everyone.
Yeah,
That's bid'ah.
it's bid'ah. No. The scholars have mentioned all this. And according to Imam Nawawi and the others, the khutbah should be in the language of the people they can understand. Because it's a maw'idah, it's advice, it's admonishment. So people should give the khutbah according to the people language, they can understand. Some very rigid, they're very strict, they have to be in Arabic. They say, no, it doesn't have to be in Arabic, it's not haram to be in English. If people are understanding, I'm going to give it in English. Go on.
You mentioned that when you come in, you pay 2 rakah and you can pay as much as you want.
Yeah.
You know, some of the ahnaf, they say before zawal, it's makruh to pay.
But it's not zawal though, is it?
No, but before, they say like 15, 20 minutes before you
Now, when you come to the masjid, I mean, you come after zawal anyway. When the Jum'ah starts, so you come the 10 past 1, you pray after, because you don't come 11 o'clock before that, no. When after zawal you come and you start praying, and as long as until Imam comes, yeah.
Is there something in the sunnah that says just for Jumu'ah, sometimes you can bring it a little bit forward, earlier?
No, time is time, isn't it? Yeah. So you come to the masjid and you pray as long as until the Imam comes. Sunnah mutlaq, nafil mutlaq, yeah.
Since we're on Jumu'ah, can I ask one more question? You know that if you speak, you committed laghu, and when you lose all your reward. With regards to that, you know, sometimes you can just make a mistake by accident. I'll give you an example, it happened to me. But the brother was sitting like this, so I thought I'd just move over a little bit for him, and he was like, no, and I was like, you know, I accidentally gestured him. It's totally by accident. Would I lose all my reward?
No, but hadith Ibn Abbas, Allah overlooked the mistake of my ummah, mistake, forgetfulness. That's different. Yeah, that's different. Yeah, he's overlooked. Yeah.
So it's just if deliberately,
if you deliberately, that's different. But mistake is forgiven, because Ibn Rajab said, nisyan, khata, wa ikrah, forgetfulness, mistake, and forcing. These 3 things are not done by intention, so they're overlooked by Allah Azza wa Jalla. So that's important, mashallah. Jazakumullah khair.
Sheikh, I have one question.
Go on.
You know the anashid of today, are they permissible?
Nasheed.
The anashid of today.
We should avoid listening to nasheed and listen to Quran more, inshallah. Don't listen to nasheed, listen to Quran, memorize Quran, inshallah. Yeah.
Some brothers, they put it over video, and it's like it's melodious anashid that speakers speaking, or mashayikh they're speaking, and they put a nasheed over it to attract the people.
No, attract in what?
Like, it pumps up views.
Food.
Like,
more people listen because they're in the street. It's not like, he's not saying singing, where you know some silly
I
thing,
know.
like some guy humming in the background. You've probably seen it all like
yeah, like,
No, that's not allowed. It should be doing that.
When you mentioned there was a book by Izz ibn Abdul Salam about revolting against the ruler.
No, Al-Izz ibn Abdul Salam, Sultan of the Ulama. He's Maliki or Shafi, something like that. He has a book called Al-Qawa'id wal-Ahkam. That book talks about maslah and mafsada, okay? And he emphasized, according to him, he emphasized on the maslaha to be greater. So he talks about maslaha mafsada, and the ulama, what they say is that when it comes to khuruj Okay, it goes down maslaha and mafsada. So for you to be khuruj, revolting against the rulers, look at the maslaha and look at the mafsada. Okay, so if the mafsada is great, you don't revolt. If the maslaha is greater, they do it. But there's never been a maslaha is greater. When you remove the harm, the maslaha comes up anyway. It's like this, bar goes up. But when it comes to the khuruj, yes, you go look at the maslaha and mafsada.
What was it? Qawaid al
Qawaid wal ahkam. Yeah.
So is the sunnah prayer after Jummah, is that still valid?
Sunnah after Jum'ah. After Jum'ah you can pray 2 or you can pray 4.
So that's still valid.
Yeah. So you can pray. Before you can pray as long as you want. After Jum'ah you can pray 2, you can pray 4. There's 2 hadith, Ibn Umar and another hadith, I think Abu Huraira. The Prophet ﷺ, one hadith, none of you should leave until you pray 2 rak'ah. Okay, the Prophet, Prophet said that none of you should leave Jum'ah until you pray 4 rak'ah. Another hadith said, Prophet never left until he prayed 2 rak'ah. So the ulama explained what does it mean that 4 and 2. Ibn Taymiyyah said, if you pray in the masjid, pray 4. If you pray in the house, pray 2 rak'ah. Yeah. Some say pray 4 in the masjid, pray 2 in the house. Because one hadith, he did it himself, another hadith commanding it. So his action in his speech.
If you do the 4 in the masjid, you still should do the 2 at home. I thought if you
don't have to.
In the masjid, you go home and do 2.
No, if you do in the masjid, pray 4, home pray 2. Some say they pray whatever, which is khilaf between them. They're just trying to harmonize those 2 hadiths. Some say if it's up to you to pray 2 or 4, no problem with that.
Is there preference or is either or?
Up to you, up to you. No, but thing is, Ibn Taymiyyah says, I think the most authentic is that pray 4 in the masjid and pray 2 in the house. Yeah. Jazakumullah khair.
We covered this hadith in 40 Imam Nawawi, didn't we?